News tonight from Argentina. Officials there say Liam Payne, a former member of the boy band One Direction, has died.
Officials say the British musician fell from the balcony at a hotel in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Evidence suggests the singer was going through a substance abuse episode and may have been semi or totally unconscious when he fell from a third-floor hotel balcony.
He would always play with death and be like, well, I'm gonna die. I'm not doing well.
I left like at 4:05 or so, and he was in good spirits. He was perfectly balanced, like talking to everybody, having fun, laughing. So nothing out of the ordinary. And that's when I said, okay, bye.
We had gone up to the room. We happened to be looking out of the window, and we saw Liam fall.
Let's get into it. If you're tired of Hollywood romances that never deliver, listen up. Dipsea is an audio app with steamy, immersive short stories that you're gonna love. They've got over 1,000 stories covering everything from enemies to lovers to forbidden romance. And yes, they actually get it right. Right now, listeners of my show can get an extended 30-day free trial. Just go to dipseastories.com/Sloan to start your free trial. That's DIPSEA stories.com/Sloan for 30 days of full access for free. Visit dipseastories.com/Sloan. Now, if you've been thinking about starting a business, here's your sign. Just start it. And the easiest way, Shopify. It's the all-in-one platform that lets you build, run, and grow your store without needing to be a business expert. Trust me, it's not hard. You don't need coding skills. You don't even need experience. Just pick a template, customize it, and you're live. It is a new year. It is time for you to challenge yourself. Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Sloan, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Sloan to start selling with Shopify today. That is shopify.com/Sloan. Welcome back to the Let's Get Into It podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Liam Payne, the former One Direction member who suddenly died last year. We're going to be talking about his life. In Chapter 1, we're going to talk about his rise to fame. In Chapter 2, we're going to talk about his struggles. In Chapter 3, we're going to talk about the months leading up to his death. In Chapter 4, we're going to talk about the incident. And then in Chapter 5, I want to talk about who is responsible. This is going to be the most comprehensive deep dive into what we know about Liam Payne and what happened to him. I feel like there's so many unsettled feelings that it's a really sensitive topic, but it's something that needs to be unpacked. It's not a cut and dry story at all. There's something very suspicious when it comes to his passing, and I think we need to uncover it. But to get there, we need to start from the beginning. Liam was born on August 29th, 1993. Liam's early life was marked by perseverance. Diagnosed with a kidney dysfunction as a child, he faced major health challenges, but his love for music never went away. And by the age of 12, he started to tap into his talent by playing piano and singing. And it's pretty crazy how he was able to, survive that initial kidney issues. He actually shared at one point that they discovered that one of his kidneys wasn't working properly, and it had scarred. So he'd have 32 injections in his arm in the morning and evening to try to make him feel better. At the same time, he's over here practicing piano and singing. He says, I've still got both kidneys, but one doesn't work, so I have to be careful not to drink too much, not even too much water. He has to keep himself as healthy as possible. Note this because, unfortunately, he struggled with alcohol. So to know that this is the body he was born into and the health issues he's going to face, it's going to end up being detrimental. Now, he was forced into the limelight at a young age. I'm talking 14 years old. He auditioned for the X Factor in 2008, impressing judges, but ultimately being told by Simon Cowell to return when he was older and more polished. Liam took Simon's words to heart, and he spent 2 years refining his skills before re-auditioning in 2010. That's whenever he was able to go in front of the judges and to prove himself and move on to the next round. Now, despite Liam having an amazing audition audition. His future wasn't going to be on X Factor. Simon Cowell actually had a plan for him. Something about Simon Cowell creeps me out, but he wanted Liam to go into this boot camp and to maybe join some guys and have a boy band. Liam was paired with 4 other talented contestants: Niall, Zayn, Harry, and Louis.
Imagine it.
Let's do an imaginary boy group if we want to start one, instead of just saying no.
Exactly.
Yes.
I love this guy.
Yes. Italian.
I like it.
I think he's sang Life on Mars. I think he's interesting.
Can you imagine if like your face was here and you're like, damn it, I was so close.
I like the fact that he's
Theatrical, Simon.
not
He's
just
theatrical.
egotistical, difficult.
He is.
Let's do
I
that.
Yes.
like that.
Me too.
You know what? He's not a puppet.
No, he's not. And you remember him.
I like him.
Okay.
And we just feel that you're too talented to let go of.
Honestly, what a great opportunity though. Like, hey, instead of letting you go, like if you guys can form a great band, then do have at it.
We think it would be a great idea to have 2 separate groups.
We've decided to put you both through.
Wow, and that's the birth of One Direction. Now, the group's chemistry was instant. I don't know about those other ladies, but they worked it out. Liam's powerful voice and natural leadership qualities quickly earned him the nickname Daddy Direction. Nicole Scherzinger later reflected, saying, I think Liam could be their leader. He has the drive and the talent to carry the group forward. So after the show was wrapped, Simon decided to take One Direction and go sign them with his label. That's when we got tracks like That's What Makes You Beautiful and their album Up All Night, which was released in 2011. By 2013, they were solidified as one of the biggest boy bands in history. I actually remember going to one of their concerts when I was like a little kid, like, oh, embarrassing. Even more embarrassing, I wasn't even like little, I was like in high school. While the fame and the success at first seemed glamorous, the pressure of life in the public eye began to take a toll. Liam, alongside his other bandmates, faced the grueling demands of non-stop touring, constant media scrutiny, and intense fan culture. During an interview, Zayn, who would later leave the band in 2015, revealed, we were definitely overworked. There were moments where I just felt like we were running empty. Liam admitted himself feeling the strain, confessing later in an interview, we were thrown into this life so quickly, it was overwhelming. There were times I struggled to keep it together. I do have a podcast all about One Direction and everything they went through, and I truly believe that's what led Liam to his struggles. So let's get into those struggles and the different mental health issues he was battling. We have headlines like this: Liam Payne's tragic struggle with drugs and alcohol before his death. While speaking to Men's Health Australia in 2019, Liam opened up about the lonely aspects of fame, and he said he began drinking to help process his feelings. Remember that kidney problem? He noted that the repetitive nature of touring was challenging on days where he wasn't feeling mentally well. He says, quote, it's almost like putting a Disney costume on before you step on stage. And underneath the Disney costume, I was pissed quite a lot of the time because there was no other way to get your head around what was going on. I mean, it was fun. We had an absolute blast, but there were certain parts of it where it just got a little bit toxic. Liam actually talked about one of those toxic moments with Logan Paul, and he said there was a moment where there was an argument backstage and one member in particular threw me up against a wall. So I said to him, if you don't remove those hands, there's a high likelihood you'll never use them again, which I believe has been rumored about him and Zayn.
I think it was well known within the band that I don't like taking shit at a certain point. I made it very obvious. I'm not going to tell you how. And there was one moment where there was an argument backstage and one member in particular threw me up a wall. So I said to him, if you don't remove those hands, there's a high likelihood you'll never use them again.
Liam was difficult to get along with at first. I mean, he did not get along with Zayn, and at first he also didn't get along with Louis. He claims on tour while they're in the band, the best way to secure them, because of how big we got, was to lock us in our rooms, like a hotel room with a mini bar. So at a certain point, I thought, I'm just gonna have to party for one, and that seemed to carry on for many years of my life. Then you look back on how long you've been drinking, and you're like, Jesus Christ, that's a long time. He said being trapped in lonely hotel rooms really effed him up, which I can imagine. and like being in all these different places, but you have to be locked inside and you cannot leave because you're too famous and it's dangerous. Liam also opened up about his struggles with substance abuse. Speaking on the Diary of CEO podcast in 2021, Liam told the host that he had struggled with severe unaliving thoughts and heavy drug use. Quote, I was worried how far rock bottom was going to be. He even questioned, where is rock bottom for me? And you would never have seen it. I'm really good at hiding it. No one would have ever seen it.
I was worried how far my rock bottom was going to be. Where's rock bottom for me? And you would never have seen it. I'm very good at hiding it. No one would have ever seen it. But rock bottom, I mean, I don't even know if I hit it yet. This year's forced something out of all of us. And for me, it forced me to really look at my life and go, what the F are you doing? Like, grow up. And that was the point.
Alright, you guys know how I always say Hollywood never gives us the romance we actually want? Well, Dipsea does. It's an audio app full of steamy, immersive short stories made for you. Whether you love a good slow burn or a forbidden romance or something a little bit darker, Dipsea has over 1,000 stories to get lost in, all professionally written and narrated with high quality sound and design that makes you feel like you're right there. And listen, these aren't your typical cringy romance books. They feature actual A-list voice actors and cover everything from fantasy worlds to forbidden workplace flings. Whatever you're into, they have it. Let's get into it. New stories drop every single week, and the best part, it's totally private and discreet, so you can listen wherever, whenever. Right now, listeners of my show can get an extended 30-day free trial. Just go to dipseastories.com/Sloan to start your free trial. That's DIPSEA stories.com/Sloan for 30 days of full access for free. Visit dipseastories.com/Sloan. Alright, if you've been thinking about starting a business, stop overthinking it. Just do it. And the best way to start is with Shopify. It's the all-in-one platform that lets you build, run, and grow your store without needing to be a business expert. I started my own merch line, and trust me, Shopify made it so easy. They've got thousands of templates that are simple to customize, so you don't need to go to college with a coding degree and stress yourself out over the keyboard. You can sell everywhere with your own website, on Instagram, TikTok, even in person. And the best part, Shopify handles payments, shipping, and even taxes, so you can just focus on making money. And you know you're always going to have a partner with Shopify. It is a new year. It is time for you to challenge yourself. Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Sloan, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Sloan to start selling with Shopify today. That is shopify.com/Sloan. Following the news of Liam's passing, a chilling photo of him resurfaced where you could see that he is on the ledge of some apartment building back in 2014. This picture just really gives me the creeps. That snap, taken the same night of Zayn Malik's 21st birthday, was shared online by one of Liam's friends, but then deleted. Liam was then forced to issue an apology on Twitter after raising concerns. The eerie throwback image made rounds again on social media after he had fallen to his death in Argentina. It seems like he really had various mental health issues. This article reads, fame created crippling anxiety for Liam, who told Esquire Middle East that he was nervous to venture outside his house at one point of his career. Anxiety and substance use disorders frequently occur in the same people. Research shows through the link it's not fully understood, but I could totally understand why, being a celebrity and also going through all that trauma as a kid and really having no one ever to unpack it to. He said, quote, I developed a bit of agoraphobia. I would never leave the house, and I do sometimes suffer with it a bit in the sense that I'll get days where I just don't want to leave my house, even if it's just to go to the shop. He said simple tasks like filling up his car and paying at the register creating anxiety for the singer. I could feel it now. It was like this horrible anxiety where I'd be sweating buckets in the car thinking I don't want to do this. He said there's some stuff that I've definitely never spoken about, and it was really, really severe. Liam also talked about seeing a picture of himself on a boat looking all bloated out with what he called pills and booze face. He said my face was just like 10 times more than it is now, and I just didn't like myself very much, so I decided to make a change.
It was only until I saw myself after that I was like, right, I need to fix myself. There's like a few pictures of me on a boat and I'm all like bloated out, and I call it pills and booze face. And I was like this, like my face was just like 10 times more than it is now. And I just didn't like myself very much. Then I made a change.
Now, in July 2023, things started to look up for Liam. He announced that he just spent 100 days in rehab to get help with his struggles with alcohol. He said turning the phone back on was a little bit scary. I've been trying to learn how to get to know this new guy that he is.
For me, a lot of what I just said just came from the wrong place. I was so angry at what was going on around me, and instead of taking a look inwards, I decided to look outwards at everybody else. And I just think, I just took it out on everybody else, which is just wrong, really. And my own frustrations with my own career and where I kind of landed, I took shots at everybody else, which is wrong. So obviously I want to apologise for that in the first instance, because that's definitely not me.
Now, a person who was heavily involved in Liam's mental health issues was Maya Henry. Maya Henry is his ex-fiancée, and she described how Liam's mental health had nosedived in recent weeks. She issued a cease and desist letter actually a week up before his death. In a recent TikTok video, she would explain that he would blow up her phone and harass her and her parents, and it seemed like he always wanted to get back with her, but she was done with him, especially after what she described as a very abusive relationship. And it's sad because when you look at old interviews of Maya talking about Liam, it's almost like she predicted his passing.
He would always play with death and be like, well, I'm gonna die. I'm not doing well. I know the lifestyle he lives, and there is a day where something bad is going to happen. So I would always be like, okay, he's saying these things. I have to help him, because if I don't, I will never be able to live with myself if something does happen to him.
Let's expand on this and move on to our next chapter and talk about the months leading up to his passing. In May 2024, that same ex-fiancée you just saw, Maya Henry, published her debut novel. It's titled Looking Forward, and some things are fictional in the book, but a lot of it is real life, and it seems like she was exposing her relationship with Liam. At first, people were like, this book can't be about Liam, because when she was talking about her abortion, he said, oh, I'm not ready for a kid. And then in real life, that's obviously not the case. But for privacy reasons, she says, I wanted to leave stuff like that out of my book. One of the stories within her book, the character talks about having to go and have an abortion because her partner didn't want her to have this baby. And it does seem to be the same thing that went down within Maya and Liam's relationship, which again is super personal, and that's part of the reasons why Liam's team actually fought to keep this book from coming out.
It's hard when you have these people that jump down your throat for speaking the truth on things that have happened, and quite frankly, very disgusting things that have happened and disgusting things that he's done. And he knows that too. He knows that he can get away with anything. He's told me. And, oh, don't tell anyone because they're not going to believe you anyways. Like, the fans always have our back. We can do whatever, we want, and they're always going to defend us. And he's right.
So Maya was a big problem for Liam. I mean, he was a problem too for her, and I think she weighed really heavily on his mental health. Every time that he would get into a fight with a girlfriend, he would go and try to reach out to Maya. But another huge character in Liam's life is Roger, one of his best friends. He actually helped him relocate to Florida, where he had a fresh start, trying to help Liam get healthy. I mean, Roger was close to Liam's father and his entire family. Roger is a very wealthy businessman, and he had a lot of money to go and hang out with his rock star friend. And he actually did try to help Liam. At least it seemed so. At least he's trying to make it seem so. Earlier this year, Liam returned to work on building the band in UK, a Netflix project. However, revisiting his old environment stirred up some difficult memories and challenges. Concerned for Liam's well-being, Roger reached out to Liam's father, expressing in an email worry about potential risks of Liam being back in the UK. Roger emphasized that the familiar environment could trigger setbacks due to Liam's past struggles and pleaded for extra support. Roger has gotten charged in the death of Liam. We will talk about this, but he is trying everything he can to make it seem like he was trying to help. He actually released the email he had sent to Liam's father. He wrote, Liam stayed at my friend's ranch house in Palm Beach, and since the first day he arrived, he had been monitored and treated by professional doctors who specialize in addiction. He stayed fully clean without access to any hard drugs during his whole stay. The plan was for him to work on the preparation for his music tour and to stay healthy and busy with work, a plan he successfully followed during his whole stay in the US. progress. He added, "I'm really concerned for his well-being while he's out there, and I hope you can bring professional doctors to check on his health regularly as soon as possible, like I did when I was in the US with him. I'm going to stay fully out of the picture and disconnected from now on. I wish you all the best with Liam's health and career." Kate Cassidy reportedly felt uneasy about Roger's closeness and constant presence in Liam's life. It seemed like he was like a handler. She noticed how the two would often collaborate on ideas and make future plans, and this dynamic reportedly caused tension. Nevertheless, Roger remained one of Liam's most trusted allies. Now, we mentioned Maya Henry, but I do want to mention Liam's girlfriend right up to his death, Kate Cassidy, because she is a main character as well. By late 2024, Liam's behavior had become increasingly alarming. During a vacation with his girlfriend, Kate Cassidy, in September, reports of troubling incidents surfaced. A close friend of Kate told The Sun that she had left the vacation early because of Liam's behavior and was becoming unpredictable. She was really worried about him. On September 28, 2024, fans were further alarmed by a series of Snapchat videos Liam posted. In the clips, he appeared disheveled, speaking incoherently about his past and struggles. One fan tweeted, "I just saw Liam's snaps and I'm really scared for him. He does not look well at all." These moments painted a troubling picture of a man spiraling under the weight of his unresolved issues, which have been exacerbated by years of fame and personal hardships. One of Liam's final public appearances was at Niall Horan's concert in Argentina, October 2nd, 2024. Initially, fans were heartened to see Liam supporting his former bandmate. One witness said, "Liam seemed to be having a great time. He was dancing, waving, and cheering for Niall. It was amazing to see them supporting each other." However, a viral video from that night told a different story. In the clip, Liam could be seen dancing erratically in his private box. His movements were uncoordinated and exaggerated. Security staff eventually approached him, seemingly to calm him down. This moment sparked concern amongst fans. They wrote on Twitter, "This is not the Liam we know. Something's seriously wrong." Let's go ahead and react to that clip together. So you can see he is dancing. Okay. Is that when security comes and gets him? Yeah. Okay. You know, he's having a good time. A lot of people were annoyed with him because they felt like he was taking the attention away from Niall's concert. Now, a lot of people were questioning, why was Liam in Argentina? Liam's trip was reportedly motivated by a desire to reconnect with Niall. In a Snapchat video posted on September 30th, 2024, Liam explained, "It's been a while since me and Niall have spoken. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'd like to square up a couple of things with the boy. Not bad vibes or anything like that, but just we need to talk." However, sources close to Niall revealed that there was no meeting that had been planned, and an anonymous member of Niall's team told Rolling Stone that Niall was surprised to hear that Liam was in Argentina because they never made plans to meet up. So, miscommunication, or is Liam gaslighting us? I mean, I thought he was there because of something to do with his visa, but I'm not entirely sure. Now, the days leading up to Liam's death were full of turmoil. On October 10th, 2024, his ex-fiancée, Maya Henry, filed a cease and desist order against him, citing repeated and escalating harassment. At this point, they had been broken up since June 2024, and she just wanted to be left alone.
Y'all don't even know what happens behind closed doors or in private. Ever since we broke up, he messages me, will blow up my phone, mind you, not only from his phone number, so I never know where it's gonna come from. He'll create new iCloud accounts to iMessage me. It's always a damn new iCloud account. I'm like, every time I see one pop up on my phone, I'm like, here we go again. And he does this when he gets his phone taken away. Also, not only me, but he'll blow up my mom's phone. Is that normal behavior to you?
So Liam was struggling with his personal life, and oh hell, his career wasn't doing much better. He was dropped by his record label and his publicist. At this point, it seems like a setup. I mean, he's like living for his career and his music, but Universal Music Group claimed that they had spent way too much money on him and he never made it back. So they're dropping him. He did not recoup the massive fund he was given to go and become this star. Out of all of the One Direction boys, they said, quote, Liam was on the wrong path musically. And if you didn't think it was a setup then, I mean, how the hell is his psychiatrist gonna drop him right before his death as well? It's like all of his support systems left him high and dry. But I'm not against the psychiatrist completely, because they said that Liam wasn't following their program, wasn't doing the steps to try to become better, and honestly recommended that he he escalates his treatment, though it didn't seem like he took her advice. She decided to stop treating Liam after careful consideration and assessment, but advised him to continue with a treatment plan. But whatever medication he was on, she was no longer going to fill them, so he has to go and find a doctor quick. She urged him to go and speak with therapists and gave him a bunch of doctors and rehab centers he could go to, but he wasn't in the mindset to go and do those things. Which brings us to our fourth chapter, the events of October 16th, 2024. Just to go through some key eyewitness statements, Maria Gonzalez, the hotel manager, said, "We received multiple complaints about noise from Liam's room. When I approached him in the lobby, he was aggressive and incoherent. He suddenly collapsed and we had to carry him back to his room." Rebecca Thompson, a hotel guest, said, "He looked like he was in a different world. I remember thinking he needed serious help." And his friend Roger said, "I'll never forget how paranoid he was that day. He genuinely believed that people were out to get him." Let's go through a timeline. So at 2 p.m., Liam is at the Casa Sur Hotel in Buenos Aires. Hotel receptionist Anna recalls Liam checked in around 2 p.m. He was stumbling, his speech was slurred, and he kept asking where he could get party supplies. At 3:15, a hotel guest in room 302 reports loud music and shouting coming from Liam's room.
Saying some things that made a few of our guests uncomfortable, and they said that he did start to show signs of intoxication throughout the day. One of our wedding guests did have a meaningful conversation with him. He told her—
It does seem like he spent a long time in this lobby, which again, it's so suspicious. Like, he had so many different interactions this day.
That the reason he was so up was because he was in a boy band, and just saying these things that it didn't really make sense or fit the context of the conversation. Our guest witnessed Liam laying—
That is so sad to hear that quote over and over again. He's like, "I was so effed up because I was in a boy band."
on the sofa in the lobby. This is probably right around 4:30 p.m. And as he was there, he was just lying pretty docile on the sofa or the couch in the lobby.
It's interesting too that he picked to be in the lobby opposed to like to be up in his room. I'm the type of person like, get me right back in my room.
Wasn't necessarily coherent. He definitely looked like he was under the influences, according to our guests, but at this point he hadn't really become aggressive or hostile at this point. Apparently something came in on his computer. And
now there's a lot of speculation that while he was sitting here, he actually received a notice about how Maya Henry, that ex, was going to sue him. This cease and desist letter, I don't know if it actually became like a legal suit, but at least it was something along those lines. That's what I believe, and that's why he got so upset.
They describe it as something, and Liam just kind of flipped. He went from laying down pretty sedentary to just stood up really agitated, and that's the point where he slammed his laptop on the ground and said something along the lines of this.
So at 3:30, Liam is seen stumbling in the hotel, shouting incoherently. He approaches the guest, Rebecca Thompson, who recalls that he said, "I used to be in a boy band. That's why I'm so effed up," which breaks my heart to hear that. His eyes were bloodshot and he couldn't stand still. Maria, the hotel manager, confronts him, but he refuses to go to his room. At 3:45, Liam collapses in the lobby. Two male members carry him back to his room. It looks like Maria said that I was considering calling medical assistance when that incident occurred, which, yeah, go ahead and do it.
And then the final time he came back down, he actually passed out in the lobby of the hotel, looked like convulsing a little bit, and had to be physically like taken back up to his room. And that was about 5 minutes before the eventual incident.
Oh, I just hate seeing this photo, but here's a picture of these men just dragging him up there. Honestly, like at this point, drag him to an EMT car, like sit him up there and call an ambulance to come and just put him in the back. But, you know, it's all in hindsight. I can't blame him, but I do think it's a little bit weird. I really wish I knew what he saw on that laptop that led him to talk about being effed up in a boy band and smashing it onto the ground. I could never smash my laptop. That is my baby. Rebecca, that witness, said, "I've never taken cocaine, but he is behaving exactly as I'd imagine. Someone who was on the drug. He wasn't focusing, his pupils were dilated, and he was behaving in an aggressive way. Now at 4 p.m., we start to get some cryptic posts from Liam in his hotel room. He's speaking incoherently about plans to ride horses. He appears to be disoriented. At 4:15, room service delivers a bottle of whiskey to his room, which he requested through the phone. A staff member, Lewis, recalls he called the front desk at least 5 times asking for more alcohol and cocaine. When I refused, he threatened to destroy the hotel. So at 4:30, hotel guests in room 304 reported hearing heavy lifting and banging from Liam's room. Can you imagine staying at this hotel and it's like all this stuff is going on? You're like, what in the hell? By 4:45, the hotel finally made a call to police, reporting a guest that was drunk with drugs and alcohol destroying his room. At 4:50, Roger arrives at the hotel. His good buddy Roger, he later recalls that Liam was in a terrible state. He kept rambling about being watched and needing to escape. I tried to calm him down, but he was beyond reason. He accused me of being one of them and locked himself in the bathroom. That's when I called the front desk for help. Then we had another manager at the hotel call 911. He asked them to send someone. We need someone urgently because I don't know if his life is in danger, he said. He's in a room that has a balcony and we are scared he might be endangering his life. By the time first responders had arrived, he had already fallen from his balcony.
Y necesitamos que nos envíen a alguien urgente porque, bueno, yo no sé si corre riesgo la vida del huésped. Está en una habitación que tiene balcón y, bueno, estamos un poco con temor de que haga algo.
Now at 5 p.m., another call was made by hotel staff reporting that his room had worsened. The situation's gone way bad. At 5:02, security camera footage shows Liam on the 3rd floor balcony, gesturing wildly and appearing to talk to someone off camera. At 5:03 p.m., we're talking by minute, Liam climbs onto the balcony railings, wailing precariously. The footage cuts out at 5:03:45 seconds. At 5:04, Liam falls from the 3rd floor balcony into the interior courtyard of the hotel. Some suggest that he was trying to escape because he maybe felt he was locked in this hotel. It actually seems like the bag he had with him was thrown onto the balcony below. So he may have been trying to jump from one balcony to the second balcony, but then had fallen instead of landing on that balcony below.
I was meeting our wedding planner. We had gone up to the room. We happened to be looking out of the window of our hotel at the pool and area just to show her the view from the hotel, and we saw Liam fall.
Oh no, an actual witness to him falling? Emergency services arrived at 5:11 p.m., 7 minutes after the second 911 call. The paramedic said, upon arrival, we found a victim in the inner courtyard. There were no signs of life, and given the nature of his injuries, his death was pronounced at the scene. So police suggest that it seems like Liam was trying to get from the 3rd floor balcony to the 2nd floor balcony and then jump a short distance to the ground. One of the hotel employees found this second bag on the 2nd balcony that was below him, and there was this bag of pills with a note that said, "For Liam," and it had a bunch of various pills and a bottle of Jack Daniels. So it seemed like he dropped the bag down, planning to escape the hotel. And as we saw in 2014, Liam wasn't shy when it came to climbing on ledges. He really lived like life on the edge and was not scared of heights, I guess, because I was always way too scared. Even my own balcony, I'll be like standing a foot away. A source told TMZ that in mid-September, his bodyguard had locked him in a Florida rental while he was under suspicion that he was in the middle of a drug binge. He then escaped through the balcony using a hose to climb down. So he has a tendency to go and escape, and it seems like this was one of those attempts. He just ended up dying. He died because of severe cranial fracture, a ruptured liver, multiple broken bones, and a shattered pelvis. His room was left a mess with a shattered mirror, a TV, overturned furniture, white powder everywhere, empty alcohol bottles, and prescription pill bottles for anxiety. Leaked WhatsApp messages from Liam's phone, timestamped at 4:20, revealed him offering $5,000 to an escort named Valentina to party and to bring substances. Looking at our timeline, that would have been right between him going and calling for room service to bring up whiskey, and then at 4:30 reports of heavy lifting and banging from his room. So when he was kind of in this like ruckus state is when he was offering these escorts to come over. When looking at the autopsy, his blood alcohol level was 3.5 times higher than the legal driving limit. He had pink cocaine in his system, normal cocaine in his system, crack cocaine in his system, and Xanax in his system. Poor guy. He just did not even want to be there. I mean, that is just so sad. I feel so bad for him. I mean, he was so struggling. He wanted to be on all these drugs that really just dissociate you from yourself. Looking at the hotel room, you could tell it is an absolute mess, which led the police to go into a full investigation. They really want to figure out who is to blame, which brings us to our final chapter. The judge who's in charge of the case said due to his state of intoxication, Liam would have confused the balcony with the hotel room with a possible exit as he tried to leave. And while I can understand that, I do think he recognized it was a balcony, which is why he dropped his bag to the second level. But there were a lot of people who were involved leading up to that event. I mean, remember at 4:54, there were those 3 men who dragged him up into his room. Now, Roger, this businessman and very close friend of Liam's, was in Argentina. He's being charged for manslaughter for allegedly abandoning Liam when he was visibly incapable of caring for himself. The judge stated that Roger failed to comply with his duties of care, assistance, and supervision. And he knew about Liam's issues, but Roger argues he wasn't ever supposed to be a caretaker for Liam. Roger went to Liam's hotel room several times that day. So the man was close to him, so he knew that there was something very wrong. He's being accused of leaving the hotel 50 minutes before Liam fell, despite being aware that Liam could potentially die. It looks like Roger is stuck in Argentina because of this case and this charge against him. No matter how rich he is, he cannot buy his way out of this one. Roger is now filing a $10 million defamation suit against Liam's father, Jeff Payne. I believe it's Jeff. It's Geoff. I think. Can you imagine being Jeff and then it's spelled Geoff? I know a few guys, like actually one of my friends' name is Jeff and it's spelled like this, so I'm not going to give you a hard time, but that is quite a choice. Roger claims that Jeff made a false and defamatory statement about him to the Argentinian authorities, which led him to get charged. He says that Liam's father said that Roger was a caregiver, and Roger's like, I'm nobody's caregiver. We were dear friends, but I never agreed to take care of this man. He denies having legal duties towards Liam and contests the claims that he took Liam to see a psychiatrist for medication. Roger said, I wasn't Liam's nurse or caretaker. Liam, who I miss every day, was my dear friend and an independent, brilliant, and respectful free man who did whatever he wanted whenever he wanted. Pretty crazy to be dear friends with Liam, but then to sue his father for $10 million. Now, 2 staff members, Gilda and Esteban, were also charged with manslaughter due to negligence. Gilda is a hotel manager and Esteban is the head of reception. Both reportedly witnessed Liam's deteriorating condition in the hotel lobby but failed to ensure his safety. Instead of seeking medical assistance or confining him to a secure area, they allowed him to return to his room unsupervised. Both were criticized for their reckless actions. Which is interesting because I feel like if this happened in the States, like, would the receptionist be responsible? I don't know. The hotel manager is accused of witnessing the moment when Liam was in the lobby and enabling, at least by omission, of the transfer of the victim to the room, which makes me question, where were those 3 guys? Are they being charged? The receptionist is accused of guiding the group of 3 people, the 3 people who dragged Liam from the lobby to his room. The conduct that should have been carried out was to keep him in a safe area without sources of danger. Instead, they just sent him right back into the room with the drugs and the balcony. The remaining 2 individuals, Ezequiel, a hotel employee, and Brian, who is a waiter who Liam had met at the restaurant, faced charges for supplying narcotics to Liam during his stay. Actually, I believe Brian, he claims that he had like some kind of romantic like moments with Liam, like they had like hooked up and things like that, and he's claiming he did not provide any drugs, but the investigation says otherwise.
My name is Brian. I'm 24 years old. They say I'm the dealer, that I carried drugs, that I sold them, and the truth is that no.
He's saying he did not sell drugs and things like that. Again, I don't know what the investigation found.
No, I didn't sell them.
TMZ has seen text exchanges from official documents which make it very clear that Brian brought 3 grams of cocaine to Liam's hotel.
So I think that, like, of course, Brian did use them. I think he's trying to say, no, I didn't sell them to him. I gifted it. We just hung out together. Like, Brian kind of treated it almost like a date, in my opinion.
Brian even sent photos of the white powder, according to prosecutors.
Did you use drugs with Liam the first night you met him?
Yeah, there was.
What drugs did you use?
Cocaine. There was cocaine. There wasn't even a lot of it, but we had some with whiskey.
I mean, that looked like a lot to me. I don't know how much you have to use to feel it. I thought it was just a little bit. Now, we didn't really mention that Kate Cassidy was in Argentina with her man, and they had a tumultuous relationship. I think that's part of the reason why she decided to abandon him. She left a few days before he had passed away.
But Cassidy returned to the U.S. on Tuesday, leaving him behind. She posted video of her journey home in first class, seat 1D, as in One Direction, and enjoying a steak dinner.
I was so ready to leave. We were supposed to be there for like 5 days, turned into 2 weeks, and I was just like, I need to go home.
It also didn't help that Maya was like holding this legal suit in front of his face, like threatening him with it. Now, I don't know how Kate Cassidy feels about this. My heart goes out to her because clearly she loved him, but there was a toxic relationship here. I'm sure Maya Henry also feels the heat. A lot of people are trying to blame her for pushing him to this edge, but I don't think that that is right either, because if she dealt with harassment and things like this, I think it really comes down to his mental health. He was not mentally well, and it doesn't excuse the behaviors, but I'm sure that Maya and Kate feel the weight of his passing because they were relatively close to him. So was Roger. The music industry's failure to provide adequate support for artists is a recurring theme in tragedies like Liam's. Liam's death has actually reignited calls for systematic reforms, including mandatory mental health services for artists, which I think would be amazing. We also need it on set for actors and things like this, because with this Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation, I mean, we need someone to check the vibe. Sharon Osbourne said, "We all let you down, Liam." Quote, "Liam, my heart aches. We all let you down. Where was the industry when you needed them? You were just a kid when you entered one of the toughest industries in the world. Who was in your corner? Rest in peace, my friend." Which, I mean, it makes you kind of look at that record label like, huh, yeah, maybe they shouldn't have dropped him. They were doing business, and I mean, it's not like they saw this coming. Liam was open about his struggles, and in my opinion, it almost seems like a cry for help. Yet there were a lot of people who did not have the patience to go and to be there to be his support system, which I don't think anyone's responsible, but damn, you would hope your loved ones would be there for you. It just seems like he was in such turmoil mentally with what he had gone through as a child, feeling trapped, feeling like excluded from this world, that he cannot operate in a normal capacity. And it really ruined him mentally to the point where he cannot cope. He cannot be sober to find any happiness. And even when he was on the drugs, he couldn't find happiness. He just found dissociation, which is so sad to see. It's a tragedy. Way too young to lose a boy band member, someone who I've seen in concert before, someone who we all grew up with. So my heart goes out to him. Prayers to his family. Thank you guys for watching the Let's Get Into It podcast, and I will see you here next week. Bye, guys.
Oh.